Namaste Saraswati Devi, Gauravani Prasarane, Nirvisesha Sunyavadi Praskatya Devi Karane. Om Agyantiminandasya, Pitam Devi Utale, Sayam Vipapaganam, Vita. Now, who remembers where we left off yesterday? What was the last thing? Because I've forgotten completely. Who remembers? Raise your hand if you remember. Yes. Perhaps that was the last thing, but something a little bit before that. Maybe make the volume a little lower. Who remembers? Yes. Madhu Mangal. Yeah. Madhu Mangal was, Krishna asked Madhu Mangal to go see Purnamasi because Krishna was not returning to Braja at the present. Rather, there was some things he had to do first before returning. He told the Brajvasis, he told Nanda Maharaj, that if he returned now, then Jarasandha would attack. And when he wouldn't find Krishna in Mathura, then he would come and disturb the residents of Vrindavan, and that was intolerable to Krishna. Maybe make the volume still a little bit lower. So therefore, when Nanda Maharaj said, what will I tell Mother Yashoda? Yashoda Maya. Then Krishna responded, please tell her that every day I see her. And then he said what he was offering me each and every day to eat. And then Nanda Maharaj said, what about the cowherd boys? I also appeared to them every day. And what about the cows? Then Krishna said that Stoka Krishna and Subal will take my dress, my cloth. Because cows perceive things by fragrance, by sight, seeing form, and by hearing. And therefore, if Stoka Krishna is dressed as me and plays my flute, and if Subal is dressed as Balaram, with Balaram's clothes, and plays his buffalo horn bugle, by fragrance, because Krishna's cloth, his clothes, still hold the fragrance of Krishna. Actually, when the residents of Vrindavan would wander through the forest of Braja, they could tell that Krishna has recently been here when they come across the enchanting fragrance of Krishna. Sounds like a buffalo horn. Jai Jai Sri Gonatai Jai Radha Balaba Jai Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Devi Ki Jai. So then after telling Madhu Mangal that he should go and serve and worship Purnamasi, who is his grandmother, and in that way, by the blessings of Purnamasi, he would always feel himself in Braja. Then Krishna distributed his clothes, his ornaments, as he had said. And then Krishna sent a messenger to the assembly of the Yadus. And he told that messenger to give the message that Nanda Maharaj to Braja. And upon hearing this, King Vasudeva and all the members of the Yadu dynasty, they happily came to that place. In one sense, in a very real sense, the residents of Vrindavan actually did not fit into the atmosphere of Mathura, because their love for Krishna was so powerful. As Nanda Maharaj had said, the residents of Mathura fear the attack of demons, and we Brijvasis fear the fire of separation from you, Krishna. So they were somewhat happy that the residents of Vrindavan were returning, because they feared that the love that they had for Krishna would steal Krishna from their presence. The Yadus brought many gifts and delightful garments and valuable things, and they distributed them to the residents of Vrindavan. And then they returned to their palaces, because Nanda Maharaj's carts were set up outside of the city of Mathura. And every night Krishna was there while the residents of Vrindavan were there. He would sleep just like a cowherd village boy. If you're not good, do you know what will happen? Do you know what will happen? You'll have to sit in the back. Would you like to sit in the back? But it's so nice in the back. Would you like to sit in the back? Are you sure? You have to sit like a yogi, and you have to be enwrapped just like a yogi, hearing these pastimes of Krishna. Can you do it? Okay, very good. Hayagriva can also do it, yes? For about 15 minutes. No, for a very long period of time. So then they went back, and then Krishna took permission from his father and the glorious members of Vrindavan, and then he returned to the city of Mathura. And the residents of Vrindavan began to proceed on their journey along with Balaram. And Nanda Maharaj, after some time, he turned to Balaram and said, "Oh, Balaram, who is so affectionate to your younger brother Krishna, I think you have to return to Krishna, because sometimes your younger brother may get bewildered." Now, what was the bewilderment that Nanda Maharaj was thinking? The bewilderment was that all the residents of Mathura would tell Krishna, "Oh, you're the son of Devaki. You're a Yadu. You belong here." And Nanda Maharaj, he thought, this boy is so innocent-hearted, he may actually believe them. So therefore, oh Brother Dave, you please go and be with Krishna in case he becomes bewildered. And then Nanda Maharaj said, and we can't truly imagine what it took Nanda Maharaj to say this. And we can't really imagine why Krishna didn't accompany the residents of Vrindavan for some distance. He would not have been able to turn back. So then, Balaram also departed from the people of Braja. And he met Krishna in a solitary place, and they just hugged each other with their arms and pressing their necks against each other. Both of them simply wept in separation. The residents of Vrindavan, they continued on their journey, and Nanda Maharaj sent ahead a messenger with the news, the very sad news of Krishna's decision to not at this time return to Braja. It was intolerable news for them, and they were tightly bound by the strong ropes of their hope. They had been thinking, perhaps today will be different from the days that have passed before. Perhaps today Krishna will return and we will be able to gaze upon his beautiful face. All the residents of Vrindavan gathered atop a hill, a tall hill, and taking with her so many gopis, young girls, ladies, and dutis, the bold messenger girls. They all gathered to wait for Nanda Maharaj, who had come with the sad news that they were expecting. Everyone dropped everything they were doing, and from afar they saw the face of Nanda Maharaj, and it was filled with such sadness that they could understand that he was not bringing them the happy news that they were hoping for. The people of Braja felt their entire life empty and filled with grief. Nanda Maharaj stood there as everyone listened completely attentively. And he began to dispel their grief by telling of Krishna's victory over the evil king Kamsa, and how he had grabbed him by the hair and threw him down and dragged his body, and how everyone had cheered. By telling the residents of Vrindavan these news, he was trying to remove their suffering. But the wise people of Braja, who are happy at heart, and this is the key to understanding Braja. The wise people of Braja, who are happy at heart when Krishna is happy, they said, so be it. This suffering we must bear, because we must agree to whatever Krishna desires. But Maharaj Nanda saw that Yashoda Maya was filled with such grief. So he had someone read aloud that letter that Krishna had sent her. He read it to the glorious people of Braja who thought of Krishna as their only friend and who only praised Krishna's glories. And they always thirsted to hear of Krishna's glories. So the messenger, or the person appointed by Nanda Maharaj, began to read that letter, and Krishna's letter had said, as we had heard yesterday, bye-bye. You're only 6, yes? You sit so nicely. It's quite amazing that a 6-year-old boy can listen so carefully to Krishna's pastimes. You must be a resident of Vrindavan because that's all you desire to hear about Krishna. Yes? Krishna's letter said he reminded them. He reminded all the residents, Mother Yashoda, that every day Krishna was actually there. And you're 8, yes? Or how old are you?
8.
8 years.
12.
You boys over here are sitting so nicely. You boys over here are sitting so... And you boys over here, you are sitting so nicely. Thank you very much. And you girls over here, very, very nice. So the letter was read. On the first day, Krishna said, and he wrote this with his own hand. On the first day, O Ma, you gave me sweet rice. On the next day, chapatis and thick yogurt. And on the next day, milk cakes. And in this way, day after day, you gave me a great variety of delicious foods. And I personally came and ate them, one after the next. Oh, Mother, Krishna said, what you saw was not a dream. Please try to understand. I come here in truth. So when this letter was read, everyone felt wonderfully consoled. And for half an hour, how many minutes is half an hour?
30 minutes.
Very good. For 30 minutes, hot and cold tears flowed from every person's wide open eyes because they had mixed emotions. They were so sad that Krishna wasn't here, but they were so thrilled and happy to hear that Krishna was coming every day. And Sriman Upananda, who was the Prime Minister, and he actually was Nanda Maharaj's eldest brother. Nanda Maharaj was the middle child. And Upananda means he was always near to Nanda Maharaj. He was his Prime Minister. Upananda means also that being near to Nanda Maharaj, he was always experiencing Ananda, great bliss, because Nanda Maharaj was such a most exalted person. So Upananda stood up and he wisely said, even though we are distressed, we should not disobey Krishna's command. Even when he was a child, his every wish was always fulfilled. He always protected us. It was because of him that we abandoned the Indrajagya. We obeyed him then. And how much more should we obey him now? We should stand up and we should act in such a way that Krishna's words will not have been spoken in vain, in such a way that when Krishna hears of our proper actions, Sri Krishna will become happy. Because that was the only desire of the residents of Vrindavan, to please Krishna. And the people of Braja, they all said, everything in Vrindavan should be made ready for Krishna's return. And that's exactly how they passed every day. When the sun rose, they simply thought, perhaps today Krishna will return. You sit right here, so close to me. Come on. I'm using all the skills that I learned as a Gurukula teacher. It's very, very good. Right here. And face me. So lucky, yes? And then, if they please Krishna, they thought, then he'll come back. And this is really the desire of the devotees. How can I please Krishna? How can I please Krishna? This is the meditation of a pure soul. How can I please Krishna? How can I please Krishna? And then they said something very mysterious. Because Krishna had said, I will return after defeating all these demons who are threatening Braja. So they said, even if Krishna gains an unlimited kingdom, if we, his so much affectionate kinsmen, call to him, even if he has an entire kingdom, if we call him and say, again return to Braja and become a cowherd boy, again protect the cows, will not our desire that we express to him bring him great pleasure and cause him to come back? So at once, we should secretly send him a letter to invite him back. And in this way, our suffering will end. Confirmed. Then, Braja's King Nanda confirmed. Very good. But don't everyone start coughing and sneezing. Then Nanda Maharaj said, very good plan. But first, we should speak to Mother Yashoda, Maya, and see what she has to say. And then we should send that message to Krishna. So after conferring with Mother Yashoda, the people of Braja composed the following letter. And again, let me just see if I have it with me. Would you like to hear the letter?
Yes.
O Krishna, you are like a moon that has risen from the ocean, that is the land of Braja. Your mother and all the people of Braja obey your command very, very sincerely. No one hesitates to obey you. Yet only our desire to gaze with our eyes upon your handsome face, on the splendor of your face, only our eyes don't agree. Your face is 1,000,000 times more dear to us than our own lives. And our eyes are not willing to obey this command that you have given us. And Mother Yashoda's words were added. Day after day, You eat the food I offer you. Still, I am not happy at heart. Bewildered and thinking, the day has not come when I can feed my son. My heart bursts into flames. What incredible tension and love and separation is being passed back and forth between Krishna and the residents of Vrindavan. It is all completely transcendental. There's not the slightest tinge of selfishness in it. And then, out of sorrow, Nanda Maharaj also wrote a letter that is so mysterious. He said, he wrote the letter not to Krishna, but to Vasudeva. He said, in giving me your seventh child to care for, Balaram, you did not see a difference between us. Let the eighth child also be yours. You should care for both. So Nanda Maharaj was so heartbreaking, broken, to even write this. But he didn't want Vasudeva to experience suffering. So after arranging for those letters, the rich and intelligent elders of Braja satisfied Braja's King Nanda and the other people of Braja and instructed them to perform their regular duties. And in this way, the elders obeyed the instructions that Krishna had given. Although their hearts were filled with grief, the people of Braja, who always saw Krishna before them, they were like a sage who was in samadhi, who was in samadhi, always thinking of the Supreme Lord, always seeing the Supreme Lord, regardless of what he was doing. They went through the motions of performing their regular activities. Also, Krishna did not neglect the Braja Gopis. And they had sent him letters expressing that they were close to death. And he had replied to them saying that I am also coming to you every day. And they had written back a letter at this point. And in this way the exchanges were continually going back between Krishna and the residents of Vrindavan. So after sending to Braja a letter describing their activities in Mathura, Krishna and Balaram became peaceful and free from anxiety. But Vasudeva and Devaki, who had Krishna with them, Krishna and Balaram, they noticed that Krishna and Balaram have not been with us since their birth. And Vasudeva noticed that actually Krishna wasn't treating Devaki as his mother. Vasudeva said to Devaki, Krishna and Balaram love Rohini as a son loves their mother. So he sent a messenger to Braja with a letter to Nanda Maharaj's younger brothers, whose name was Sananda and Abhinanda. And he said, when you had just visited us during the time of the Dhanurjagya, when Krishna killed Kamsa. I did not tell you my desire. And that desire I will now speak now. I wish that Balaram's mother, Rohini, shall return to Mathura. You're so close because I can't pat you on the head from so far away. Come close, come close. Your chariot is so slow. It's gone. Okay. Very good. I want Rohini to come. This is my request, because Rohini was the wife of Vasudeva. And Rohini heard these words. Her heart became filled with worries. She thought, my husband has commanded me, and I yearn to see my two sons, Krishna and Balaram. But still, I have no power to abandon Mother Yashoda. How can I leave her? Only if my destiny allowed each one of my eyes and each part of the various parts of my body, that one could stay in Braja and one could stay in Mathura. Only then will my problem be resolved. And seeing that Rohini was now sad at heart, Sri Krishna's mother, Yashoda Maya, said to her, I think that although destiny has split us into two different bodies, there is only one life's breath between the two of us. You do not see that your son Balaram is any different from my son Krishna, and I do not see that your son is any different from my son. And if because of my past impious deeds I cannot go and be with my two sons, then you, O mother of Balaram, please you go and be with them. And in that way you will keep poor me alive. And then, after the elderly ladies of Braja consoled Mother Yashoda and gave her good advice, they consulted astrologers, and they found the most auspicious time for Rohini to depart. And she loaded all her possessions into many great carts. And after Mother Yashoda followed her for a great distance, finally, Rohini Devi gave Yashoda a big hug. Their necks were flooded with tears, and then amid great lamentation, Rohini departed Braja from Mathura. Yashoda gave to Rohini many kinds of foods that Krishna and Balaram might like to eat. Her voice was choked with emotion, and she said again and again, please send letters with news of our two boys. Also, please give this message to Devaki. Dear Devaki, you and I are none different because we both have Krishna as our son. Actually, it's very interesting that Mother Yashoda was also called Devaki. This is written in Shastra. And also interesting is that Nanda Maharaj was also called Vasudeva. Vasu means wealth, and Deva means abundance, of effulgent abundance of wealth. So both of them, in one sense, have the same names, Devaki and Vasudeva. When Rohini arrived from Braja, Krishna and Balaram met her and offered respectful obeisances to her. And Mother Yashoda was manifest in Mathura, in the heart of Rohini, and also manifest before Krishna and Balaram. The ways of love cannot be understood through mere intelligence. Krishna fell down at the feet of Rohini and he remembered Yashoda, and at once he began to weep and weep, and Rohini wept as if she was a grieving Kurari bird. Hearing of Mother Yashoda's feeling of separation from him, Krishna wept. And Balaram asked about Yashoda's condition, and feeling herself the same as Yashoda, Rohini revealed that she herself was none different from Yashoda. On another day, as Rohini Devi was surrounded by Vasudev's other wives, and as she saw that the other wives did not wish to hear about Krishna's relationship with the people of Braja, Rohini, this trend is like this. Thank you. If you're naughty again, you'll have to be sitting right on the seat with me. Is it hard to concentrate and listen? So glad to hear this. These other queens of Vasudeva, the last thing they wanted to hear was about the love of the residents of Vrindavan for Krishna. Rohini said to them, the thing that which the world calls by the name of love is gloriously personified by Krishna in the land of Braja. And the Gopa Queen Yashoda very deeply loves your son Krishna. And if that is so, what is the harm that your son Krishna has a relationship with the people of Braja? Hearing these words that they did not desire to hear, Vasudeva and Devaki became silent. Then Vasudev's other wives, who were fond of joking, they said, oh, Rohini, in your heart you yearn to enjoy the milk, yogurt, and other milk products given to you by the cowherd people of Braja, and that is why you are speaking these foolish words. Hearing this and understanding the mentality of the women that spoke them, and feeling the sorrows that Nanda and Yashoda felt, Rohini became silent. And in Mathura and in Dwarka, only two people had understood. Only two people could understand what Braja was like for Krishna. And those two people were Baladev and Rohini Devi.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
Everyone chant. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Yes, Rama, you sat for some time, and then when it became difficult, you left for some time, and then you came back. So if you want to do that, no problem.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare
Everyone chant. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Everyone loudly. Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Everyone again, everyone. Vasudeva began to arrange the sacred thread ceremony for Krishna and Balaram, and Rohini did not suggest that the residents of Vrindavan be invited. Although they wanted to do so, Krishna and Balaram advised that the residents of Vrindavan not come to this ceremony because he understood that they would suffer at such an occasion, suffer because they were so different from the residents of Mathura, and that the people of Mathura would be indifferent to them. So, with the florist Sudama, he sent a message to Braja's king, Nanda. And the letter said, "O Father, today or tomorrow, the family members of the Yadava king Vasudeva will accept me as their son by initiating me with the sacred thread. And on the outside, I will accept their kinship being brought into their family. But my heart will be in a different place. I will return to see you all who are my true kinsmen, my true family. These words I have already spoken to you, and I have placed these words on my tongue. How can I take them back? I, O Father, am your son. Please do not be unhappy that you will not come to my thread ceremony. I'm doing this only to please your friend Vasudeva and his kinsmen. But please arrange for a thread ceremony for all my friends, my Gopa friends in Braja. O King of Braja, when their ceremony is performed, then my thread ceremony will also be completed in the land of Braja. And then, after the ceremony was performed, the desire to study the Vedas and the Vedangas took its birth within Krishna and Balaram. And wishing to act as an example, just as other examples have acted, Krishna and Balaram decided that all the great sages before us have studied in the house of spiritual masters in Gurukula. And although Krishna, Dwapayana, Vyasadeva, and other great sages are on this planet, and they are so qualified to act as our guru, we know that by their natures, being Vaishnavas, they will understand who we are. They will understand our identities, and they will feel very shy to instruct us. They will become very shy to become our teachers because they know the truth of the Vaishnava philosophy. And yet, we should study properly at the feet of a guru. We think that our jumping over the ordinary pious conduct will not bring auspiciousness to the world. Therefore, let us accept as our guru a Shiva Bhakta who is learned in all the Shastras. We should go to Avantipura because there Sandipani Muni, whose ancestors who come from Benares and who has previously lived in Prabhupada, he lives there in the auspicious city of Avantipura, and no others are learned like him. But yet, if it becomes widely known that we have gone far away, our enemies will make great trouble for the Yadav dynasty. And then after that, they will give trouble to the people of Braja. They will give trouble to our parents and our servants. And also, if the residents of Vrindavan think that we are so far away Avantipura, especially Mother Yashoda, they will all burn in the fever of sorrow. So after having these thoughts, Krishna and Balaram told the Yadavas to tell all outsiders that asked. After accepting their sacred thread, Krishna and Balaram are performing a vrata, vows of great austerities and seclusion in Mathura. And in this way, the outsiders were bewildered. And then Krishna and Balaram departed for the home of their teacher, Sandipani Muni. Krishna and Balaram said to the Yadavas, no one should come with us on our journey. Then Krishna said to sorrow-filled Rohini, Devaki, and Vasudeva, do not worry about our safety. If Balaram is in my company, it is the same strength of 10 million people accompanying us. And if I am in Balaram's company, then it is the same as 100 million people protecting us. And it is because of the blessings that you give us, Balaram and I will be powerful without equal, and no one in the world can give us trouble. And hearing these words, Vasudeva and Devaki were full confidence in the powers of Krishna and Balaram. They gave them blessings to leave for Avantipura. Yashoda's friend Rohini was filled with sorrow. Krishna and Balaram left without anyone in Mathura knowing. As they traveled on the roads, Krishna and Balaram gave alms, charity, to whoever asked, to all the pilgrims and the brahmanas and saints who knew the truth of the soul. And because they had not yet completed their vow of Brahmachari, the two brothers, Krishna and Balaram, would not travel on any vehicle. Rather, they traveled by the strength of their own powers. And as they passed, it's approximately 700 kilometers from Mathura to Ujjain, to Avantipura. And it took them more than 2 months to walk. That means about 10 kilometers a day they would walk. And as they walked, they passed through many pasturing grounds, and they passed through many cowherd villages. And in each one, Krishna became stunned in ecstasy as he remembered the land of Braja. As they walked, many people saw them, and the splendor of these two entered their eyes. Krishna and Balaram, dressed as two brahmacharis, were not recognized by anyone. And when people saw Balaram's fair splendor, as they arrived in Avantipura, they knew that Balaram was such an exalted person. But when they saw Krishna's dark splendor, they thought, he is the most exalted person. And wherever cloud-dark Krishna went, who is personified love for Braja's Queen Yashoda. Wherever she went, the people in the cities or the forests felt their heart melt with love for him. And the ladies would ask, who is the crest jewel of saintly mothers that had the fortune to hold this boy on her lap? Thus, Krishna and Balaram concealed their true identity as the Supreme Lords and also as Vasudev's sons, had far left behind their associates and friends. After 2 months of wandering, they entered the assembly of Sandipani Muni. They entered an assembly where every person had great joy for learning, had great joy for scholarship. But when they entered, all those persons remained seated because immediately they could understand that these 2 boys had the demeanor of Kshatriyas, and they were all Brahmins. They said to each other, we think one of these boys is a monsoon cloud and the other is an autumn cloud. We can guess that one boy must be the sun and the other the moon. Still, the handsome and dark one shines with greater splendor. They were dressed very simply in garments made of cotton, or some say made of silk. They had their sacred threads across their shoulder, and they were pure and effulgent. Their belts were made of murva grass, and their staffs were made of kadira wood, and they were wearing covers, shawls of deer skin. Their status as effulgent, powerful, kshatriya, handsome brahmacharis, fair and dark Krishna, entered the assembly of Acharya Sandipani Muni. It was like the sun and moon rising together in a sky effulgent with a host of stars gathered around the effulgent planet Brihaspati, Jupiter. That was Sandipani Muni. And Krishna and Balaram entered that assembly, an assembly that was effulgent with the presence of all, with 1,000 brahmanas. And seeing the signs of being kings on Krishna and Balaram, the members of the assembly did not stand up because they had some pride of their being brahmanas. But although they did not show that kind of respect to Krishna and Balaram, the brahmanas in the assembly still completely surrendered to them, and they took shelter of them. The brahmins' hearts melted upon seeing them. Their hearts melted with love, and their eyes filled with tears immediately as they gazed on the splendor of Krishna and Balaram. They did not bring any valuable jewels to present to Sandipani Muni because they did not want to give away their identity, but rather they brought valuable fruits, rare fruits, and firewood that they had collected along their journey. And they took that, and with great devotion, they placed the firewood and fruits in their hands upon the ground before Sandipani Muni, and with very, very sweet words that expressed their desire to learn from him. They described their family and their castes. They said their names were Sita and Asita, the fair one and the dark one. And Krishna and Balaram very wonderfully offered respectful obeisances to Sandipani Muni, saying, O descendant of a glorious family, O crest jewel of brahmanas, O treasure house of knowledge, O wise saint who knows the heart of Vedic Dharma. O rescuer who drives away the sorrow that is ignorance. O friend of the poor and the wretched and the ignorant, please rescue us. We take shelter of your lotus feet. When Sandipani Muni asked them for the name of their father, Krishna and Balaram concealed the truth, saying, we are born in the famous and opulent Vasuta, Yadava dynasty, and charmed by their skill in avoiding a direct reply, the members of that assembly accepted Krishna and Balaram as the most exalted person. The Guru, Sandipani Muni, then said to Krishna and Balaram, time is very precious to us, but still, considering you two saintly persons can stay with us as students. But I want you to go out begging with the other Brahmana boys, and that will help you destroy your Kshatriya pride. And after accepting Krishna and Balaram with these words, the Guru Sandipani Muni said to everyone there, simply by seeing them, my heart is filled with affection for these two boys. From the moment of their birth, they must have associated with glorious love, because I can see that inside and outside, these boys are made of sincere love and love alone. The auspicious markings of the body on the body of Sita, Balaram, surpass the descriptions of auspicious markings in the Samudra Shastra. The glory of the auspicious markings on the body of Asita, Krishna, the Dark One, bewilders the intelligence of people like myself. Thus, Krishna and Balaram joined the community of Brahmacharis who begged alms of cooked rice. Now, this is the very nature of Krishna. He is all attractive. He is all attractive. So please keep Krishna in your mind and know that Krishna and Krishna's holy names are the same. And let us chant with very sincere and open hearts and pray that Krishna accept us as his servant and allow us to serve him. So please chant and think of Bhagavatam. But please chant with very, very open and sincere hearts.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare
Hare
going to play.
Hare
Hare
sorry. It's so wonderful to chant Krishna's names, especially if we can chant in a mood of calling out to Krishna. Srila Prabhupada, his earliest explanation of the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra when he was just beginning to spread Krishna consciousness was telling the devotees who didn't have any idea what the word Krishna meant, or most of them had never even seen a picture of Krishna, a photograph of Krishna. And he told them, the mantra means, O Lord, O Krishna, O energy of the Lord, O Srimati Radharani, O Hare, please accept me as your servant. Please, please accept me. Allow me to serve you. And this is the greatest benediction, is to be able to serve Krishna. Because now in this world, we turn our back on Krishna. And we wish to imagine that we are the center of things and that people should serve us. But actually that brings us no happiness, and our happiness is when we actually serve Krishna. So the calling out, the soul, me, the person, the calling out, the sincere calling out of the soul, please allow me to serve you, Krishna. Calling out fully from the depths of one's consciousness is the way that one should chant Krishna's names. At the same time, Prabhupada said it is like the calling out of a baby for mother. That I'm completely dependent on you. I'm completely dependent on you. Please, please come to me. Please allow me to serve you. So you were all chanting so nicely, and thank you so much for that. And thank you for listening so attentively to the pastimes that occurred after Krishna killed Kamsa after he had gone to Mathura. Krishna's pastimes are like an ocean of mercy, and when we hear how the residents of Vrindavan, the depth of the full depth of their love for him, and then we can examine, at least I can examine my own heart and see there's no love for Krishna, it's just selfishness. Then, if I can actually, by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, by the mercy of Radha Ballabha, by the mercy of Sisi Gonatai, by the mercy of Sangha Baldev Subhadra Devi, call out and chant Krishna's names with a sincere desire to get the mercy of service. And as you all chanted so nicely, that it is so wonderful. Sometimes it is required that before we, I would say all the time, practically speaking, before we begin to chant, whether it's kirtan, or japa, or before we stand before the deities, before we offer Guru Puja to Srila Prabhupada, we should become conscious of what we are doing, who we are, what our consciousness is like. Try to remember what we're doing and what we actually want out of life. If you could just pinch the child a little bit and make him cry so we can all hear the cry. No, I'll just take him. Baba, she's crying for Baba now. Okay, Baba, you take it. This is a daddy's boy. As soon as daddy has him, he will look to his mother and say, Mama, Mommy. So immediately, when the child says, Baba, Baba, or Mommy, immediately the father must come. Immediately, we have just seen it. So if we can call out with that simplicity of heart for Krishna, immediately Krishna will be there. Immediately Krishna will be there for us. He's there already. But we Krishna conscious, they immediately manifest themselves. And then the satisfaction that we long for will come to us by the mercy of the holy names. But we should keep a consciousness on what we are doing. It's not easy in Kali Yuga because everyone's mind is upadrita, so distracted. Everyone's mind is so distracted by everything except our mobile phones. Do you have a mobile phone? No. Very good. Do you have a mobile phone? Very good. Do you have a mobile phone? No. Very good. Do you have a mobile phone? Very good. Do you have a mobile phone? Do you use it? Do you go like this all day long? Okay. That's a nice thing. Okay, thank you very much. And Krishna willing, we shall see you very soon. Okay. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Sisi Gaunitai ki jai. Sisi Radhaballabha ki jai. Jagannath Baladev Subhadra ki jai. Srila Prabhupada Bhaktivedanta ki jai. Sisi Radhaballabha Bhaktivedanta ki jai. Melbourne Mahaprabhu Mandir ki jai. Jai Bhurijana ki jai. Only a Mahatma can get away with that. True Mahatma.